go? What's the ambition?
So for us,
The state, is it
yeah,
the country, is it the world?
for what we do, California is, like in after school, California has, on the low income side, like subsidized side, which is where we operate, there's $550 million of state funding, and then California gets about 14% of the federal funding, which is $1.2 billion. So our market's, it's about a $700 million market in California for that piece of it. And nationally, they say there's $1.2 billion and 140, there's only $1 billion in the whole rest of the country. So California, so we can get pretty sizable just penetrating California, and then go back and get the parent pay piece of California, which is about a $6 or $7 billion market. Then there's another. Then you get into preschool after you drop off the platform. So you can get pretty big just staying in California. There's a lot of efficiencies to having local impact. So we may go bigger than that, but.
For the next guy.
You better change yourself.
I got 20 years worth of work penetrating California.
Sounds pretty good to me.
As far as we're concerned, Goodwill, their policy internationally is you have territories, and our territory is Orange County, and Orange County specifically, except for this this one program we have, the assistive technology, where we are aligned with 42 school districts throughout Southern California, where we will help children with disabilities and provide them with technology and expertise in order to help that program. That program does not pay for itself. We have to get donations to pay for it, just the same as our fitness center. It doesn't pay for itself either, not even close. But that's part of our mission. And so we're very limited as to where we can go and what we can do. And internationally, they say, oh, you can have 5 more stores in Orange County. We have 20 stores, and where do you want us to put them? Or where are they? I mean, they cost money to put them in. It costs us $500,000 to open a store. Aside from the rent and all those kinds of things, and then other people don't want Goodwill because they have the NIMBY feeling about Goodwill.
I need to see that video.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but getting the word out, changing people's perceptions, is what we started when I started 9 years ago. That was the first thing we started to do. What do we do to change people's perceptions about Goodwill?
Betsy, what's your take?
My take is that scale is important, and it is something that people need to be working on, particularly if your priority is solving major social problems. You can't do it, you can't do that person by person, but at the same time, a lot of the organizations we work with are small, and the innovation that, what's for them an innovation is just the whole idea of starting to figure out ways to be more self-sufficient. And I think that's important too. I also think innovation, very often starts in a small organization, and you got to encourage that, and someday, maybe later, there'll be scale. So I don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Didn't want to cut you off.
No, there's a lot of discussion about this. I mean, when it comes to Gates, his issue is that given the size of their fund and the rules that say a foundation has to give away 5% of its assets every year, they're trying to look at how to give away about $2 billion a year. So
That's hard work, isn't it?
This is hard work. So their typical Gates thing is they'll go to a nonprofit in Africa and say, here's $3 million, test you out, $2 million. And then they'll come back if that works and say, here's $7 million. And then they'll go back and go, if I can't give you $50 million, we can't pay attention to you anymore. Because it's just too much money to try to manage spending $2 billion a year with nonprofits.
You want to write a few
So
big
therefore,
checks.
scale is really what they're all about.
That's interesting.
And that's becomes a challenge for them. Jeff Skoll, who is sort of the major funder of social entrepreneurship, he's the co-founder of eBay, had sponsored out of Stanford a study on this concept of what is a social entrepreneur. And they wrote the first paper that said, everybody who starts a new nonprofit doing what you do is not a social entrepreneur. If you're not scalable at a global level, if you're not true innovation, scalable at a global level, with serious sustainability, then you're not a social entrepreneur. And it's a giant question: is why not? Why isn't what Betsy's doing here creating this small but phenomenal training program for social enterprises, a social entrepreneur. But look, scale is an easy thing in corporations to talk about, very hard in nonprofit.
But who cares what you're called? I mean, I don't care if I'm called a social entrepreneur. I'm just a guy doing what I do.
Right.
That's a media thing.
And that's the argument back
Right.
to, that's the argument back.
Yeah.
Except for the foundations that want to fund social entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and until
That's a fad.
until the social perceptions
It is.
shape
That's
your
a fact.
ability to raise money or to get your job done. If those words become good words or bad words, that may affect your ability to do your mission.
Yeah, there is a lot of paper being consumed arguing the definition of social
Right.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
And,
it's a
you know,
fad.
The who cares is
Yeah.
ultimately.
You know, my dad told me when I was a kid, always give something back to the community. And so I've always tried to do that. I've always tried to do that with the Boys and Girls Club, with the Second Harvest Food Bank, with all these things. And I got laid off by Ford Motor Company, and I was chairman of the Second Harvest Food Bank at the time, and I said, gosh, and the guy told me, why don't you apply for this Goodwill thing, And I said, okay, because I kind of knew what Goodwill did, so I applied. And I said, went through Korn Ferry, and I got the job. It's been by far the greatest job I've ever had in my life. But I don't know, what's a social entrepreneur? I have no idea. I'm an old school guy, I never got to talk to the president of Ford Motor Company, and that inspired me. So I said, by golly, every employee is going to get a chance to talk to me when I'm president of little old Goodwill. So I talk to every single person that comes to work for us, I talk to them. And I sit down with them and talk about how do we feel about what we're doing. And you're lucky to be here. You're lucky to have a job these days. That's what I say.
You had a question over there?
I do. It's great to hear the passion that you guys have and the stories for what you're up to right now, each of the missions, whether it be jobs for disabled people or education. It's been really exciting to hear you talk too about the shift from pure philanthropy in pursuit of those missions to something that's more sustainable through revenue generation. What do you see as next? What do you do? Where are you going next? What are you really excited about on the horizon?
Great question.
Well, two things. So obviously, we're excited about scale, but the other thing for us is also innovation, which you can get to, but me. But we see delivering the academic piece of our program more via technology. Right now, our core product is a comprehensive daily after-school program with an hour or so of extended school, typically in language arts or math, an hour or so of homework help, and an hour or so of physical fitness with some other arts and science enrichment thrown in. But delivering that academic piece as more, well, it's interesting. There's been a lot happen at the college level with things going on online. Some at high school, mostly in the area of credit recovery, a little bit of SAT and ACT prep and KC prep, which is the high school exit exam. Very little below that of quality. There's been textbook companies have kind of put their textbooks online because that's a threat, but nothing that really leverages gaming or interactive or things like that. So what we think is to have interactive, kinds of things, but that are standard-based that you can align with the regular school day, and then custom, you can have an assessment. So kids at this level, math group's got this whole or that sort of thing. And so we're in the final stages of putting an agreement together to co-develop some K-8 curriculum that'll be online that we think will, revolutionize the academic content piece of the out-of-school learning, because we can make money at it. So we're excited about that.
Cool.